Hey everybody, I'm Todd Anderson.
And I'm Ross Merriam.
And you're watching the Versus series by StarCityGames.com. So this week we're delving into Pauper, where the format is virtually unexplored.
This time I'm literally delving.
Okay. Look, every time I say a word that is a keyword ability in Magic, you don't have to make a joke about it.
But this time I have delve cards.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right. So today we are going to be playing some Pauper. Tomorrow we have Brawl. And the day after that, we're going to be going back into Standard a little bit with hopefully some decks that don't feature Goblin Chain Whirler.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah. But Pauper is a relatively unexplored format. Right now it's basically just a Magic Online format. The cards on Magic Online are a little more accessible. You can find random stuff from like the countless number of bots that exist on Magic Online that have basically collected every single card that's ever been printed in mass for the last 15 years. And Pauper is, it started off as a Magic Online format as a way for players to utilize these older cards that basically had no value. But over time, the appeal of Pauper as a format has made some of these cards actually go up in value. And the same is starting to happen in real life too, with cards like Oubliette, which are in my deck and are randomly $30. But there are replacements that you could potentially play that fill that slot. For example, if you don't want to buy the Oubliettes in this deck that I'm going to be playing today, you can just play Unmake. It's effectively a similar card, 3 mana, exile target creature, and the fact that it can be cast for triple black means it fits perfectly into a black deck.
Yep. My deck, though, is very inexpensive, even for the Pauper format. I believe the total cost on MTG Goldfish for online was like $5. Paper is a little more expensive. Yeah, we got some lightning bolts. If you got lightning bolts, I think that might be the most expensive card in the deck.
Sure.
Maybe Nimble Mongoose. I don't know. It's a Jund threshold deck. The mana in Pauper is always shaky when you try to go 3 colors, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. But the cards are all awesome.
Are you playing Mulch?
I am playing Satyr Wayfinder.
Satyr Wayfinder is good too. Mulch seems like it'd be pretty good in a Delve deck. The thing about Pauper is that since it's so under the radar as far as the pro level scene is concerned, we don't have Grand Prix, we don't have PTQs, we don't have Opens yet. So there's not like this huge pro tilt towards Pauper. So you don't have I want to say refined strategies. Like a lot of these cool decks exist on Magic Online, but like if 10 of the greatest minds in the world, like if Team Channel Fireball, for example, or Team Ultimate Guard, the Pantheon, if the Pantheon had to play Pauper for a pro tour, I guarantee you their deck would be significantly different than whatever you've already seen. Just because there are so many cool things that you can do in Pauper because there's just so many cards.
Yeah, the format it's a lot more powerful than you would think a format of all commons would
Without
be.
the ban list, it was busted. I died regularly on turn 2 to Storm decks because there's so many cheap card draw effects and mana effects. Like almost all the rituals ever printed are common. Manamorphose is common. Knight's Whisper was printed at common at some point. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, if there is ever evidence that it's never like the card that combo decks use to win the game with, that's the problem. It's always the engine that's the problem. Mm-hmm. Pauper is that problem. That evidence? Because they went down the list of cards that are common that have Storm on them.
Yes.
We're like, okay, we'll figure out a way to win with this one. Yeah. And they just all got banned.
Yeah. I mean, at first it was, I believe Grape Shot got banned first, and then people were like, okay, well then instead we'll just do Empty the Warrens plus Goblin Bushwhacker.
Yep.
And that was the kill for a while. That was insane.
And then they're like, Temporal Fissure.
And then they're Temporal Fissure. But Temporal Fissure was a different problem because there were decks that played like Cloud of Fairies and things like that to generate extra Storm and extra mana. And then they would just, upheaval basically the opponent's entire side of the board and then kill you with just random, 1/1s or whatever. And that was good enough.
So we got rid of most of the really broken stuff, and so now the format has a lot of blue Delver decks that are sort of tempo-y, but can be more controlling. There's a big spectrum in how you build them. We've got aggressive decks like Mono Green and Affinity. We've got more synergistic decks like Elves. We've got grindy mid-range decks like Red White, Kadotha, and Mono Black. And we've got more traditional control decks. We got Tron decks. So the format's pretty diverse. It's really cool. I've got a sweet deck, and I just want to play some games.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to the match and see who takes down between Jun Delve and Mono Black Control. All right, we're here for game one. I'm going to be on the play since I was defeated yesterday by a Mono Green Devotion deck. Today, I'm going to be playing this Mono Black Control deck, and this is a little bit different from what you would usually consider as a control deck. This deck will play out similarly to how we saw Mono Black Devotion play out when it was in Standard, where you have a few threats that are key in helping you stabilize in the early turns, as well as closing games once you have control. From my side, this hand is okay. I really want a third land so I can cast my more expensive things, but I'm going to keep it.
I have a reasonable early curve. I think this is going to be one of my best cards in this matchup because of the density of removal in Todd's deck. I'm a little land heavy, but having all my colors is really important, so... Not even gaining life on turn one. What are you even doing? It's Pauper. I'll go to 21.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. I've never seen Oubliette. I'm pretty sure it's just a black Oblivion Ring for creatures.
Yeah.
Because it has the word hints on it. I don't know. I've never seen a Magic card with the word hints on it before. So. All right. We'll play a Kumbaya, which is 1/3. Taps to deal damage to a target of my choice, and then a target of my opponent's choice.
Sure. Okay, I will get the party started with a Putrid Leech.
That's a good one.
Pass the turn.
See? All right, now I have the option to play Chittering Rats and use my mana more efficiently. I could also just Oubliette away this Putrid Leech, and then try to use removal later on. I think it's just Oubliette. So we will Oblivion Ring, and then I'll just attack for 1 so he doesn't get to ping me.
I got a 20.
Your turn.
Okay, let's play a Mountain and go to 19.
All right. I got some of those in my deck, too. Phyrexian Rager is one of my all-time favorite Magic cards. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it is a nice one.
All right. I want to get my other Kumbaya Witches onto the battlefield so I can just get rid of that Phyrexian Rager cleanly. We'll say go.
Okay, well, I don't care for that happening, so let's lightning bolt the one that can tap this turn. I don't know if you want to deal 1 to both of us.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Then I will... I guess I should not play that land yet. So 1 card in my graveyard. This will get me to... I can't take a land off this Wayfinder and cast a Delve threat. Am I willing to just play Wayfinder to mill 4? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a slow game, and I want every piece of value I can. Every extra land is valuable because of Faithless Looting. So I think I'm just going to attack for 2.
I'll block.
He got me.
Yeah, we could have used this to deal damage to this to threaten to trade, but then I would have ended up just taking a damage and then he just wouldn't have attacked.
Yeah. So I'm just going to play a Jun Panorama and pass the turn.
All right. All right, I'm just going to play Unearth on Kumbaya, which is...
That's pretty good.
I'll say go.
I'll sack this Panorama for a Mountain. Todd did not make a 4th land drop.
Correct.
I'm not a fan of, because it means he has all spells.
It's true. Oops.
Okay. Good card dealer. That one is not bad. It's really going to help us keep our graveyard stocked, which I like. So I am going to start with a Faithless Looting.
Sure.
I will discard Stinkweed Imp and Forest.
Sequin Imp's kind of cool in that deck, if only because it just fuels all of your Delve spells. It's also a threat that I actually just, have trouble just containing.
Yeah. Seder Wayfinder. Ooh, milled into another looting. That's good. I'll take the swamp. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that I don't mind delving away. So why don't we delve them and play a Gurmag Angler?
Okay.
And pass the turn.
One of these does not have summoning sickness, so I'll go ahead and shoot the Wayfinder.
Deal
I'm
one to
assuming
you?
you'll- Yeah.
So 19 all?
19. Yep. Draw. So I can play it safe here, or I can sign in blood and gamble a little bit. I like playing it safe, so we'll just shoot this.
2 to you, I guess.
17 to 19, and then I'm going to Chainer's Edict you while you're tapped out. Your turn.
Yeah, not going great. So I think I want to dredge this imp because I'm going to be I want to cast some more delve threats. So this is going to be 3. That'll be 8 cards, 14 total mana, and I need 13. So yeah, that'll work. So now there's a looting that I'd like to keep. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's delve 6 of them for an angler, and then delve 1 of them for big hoots.
Yep.
Pass the
right.
turn.
All right. 2 here. Disfigure it. I go to 15, and then I will guess verdict you.
I'll go to 18. Ugh.
Yep. Your turn. So this is good for us because we're able to contain his larger threats by using Kumbaj Witches to shoot down his little stuff, and even combining it with Disfigure to do the last few points.
Yeah, that did not go well for me. I was hoping either you didn't have another edict, or I don't really know what I was hoping, but I was hoping I'd get to attack. So I'll flashback a looting.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 6 cards in my graveyard, so I guess I will just pass. I want to hold off on these lootings. Again, this game's going to go long, so I don't mind playing it slow.
Yeah. All right, so he's got 2 cards in hand. I think I'm going to go ahead and get a Chittering Rats for value before he runs out of total cards. And then I'm going to attack for 2, put you to 16.
Go to 16.
Your turn. This is kind of what this deck does. We have we don't have a really high land count. Even if we do get flooded, we have things like Chainer's Edict, which we can use the extra mana on. But we're really just trying to make sure we can contain all of the opponent's creatures.
So I'm going to sack this Panorama, so I go to 7 cards in my graveyard, and I'm going to play 2 Werebears.
2 Werebears.
So they are 4/4s.
All right.
This game would be a lot easier if you had 6 lands in play too. You should try drawing some lands.
Attack.
So if I block this Chittering Rats, Todd can use the Witches, to mow down one of my bears. I like how it's a human bear. I guess it's a werebear, so that makes sense. So I'm just going to take this and go to 14. I really want to start pressuring Todd's life total so the Witches eventually become a liability. And
All right. Go to 13 and sign blood myself.
sure.
Go.
Okay, I'm going to dredge the imp on my draw so I can freely flashback a Faithless Looting without giving Todd an opportunity to kill these werebears. Ooh, Flame Jab. That's a good one. Okay, so how do I want to tap for this? I guess that'll work. Let's flashback a looting.
Okay.
Don't really like either of these cards. But I guess this is the best one to keep around. So I'll discard those 2 and attack you for 8.
All right, I'll guess verdict you. Put you to 13. I'll take 4 down on 9.
Okay. I will Pass the turn.
So I could have done something different with the cards I had access to, but he would have potentially been able to just like, if I use my Kumbaj Witches, he can actually just do the damage to the Chittering Rats. So, all right, I'm gonna go for a Gray Merchant. If he doesn't have anything, he's dead. That's cool.
I go to 3, you go to 19.
Yep. Yeah, Oubliette having double black on is pretty sweet. I'll just attack. See what happens. Nice. Nice.
That'll do it. Okay, we are here for sideboarding. I don't have a lot to do on my side. I am bringing in some more removal spells because I really want to deal with witches, with Kumbaj Witches. Like, one of my best ways to beat Todd is going to be to keep those off the battlefield and force him to use removal spells on like my Satyr Wayfinders. Otherwise, he can't edict my larger threats.
Right.
So I really want to keep witches off the battlefield and bring in all my removal spells I have against it, which is 4 volts and 2 slash. And then I'm bringing in the Pulse because I think I do need to keep my life total kind of high against Gray Merchant. And this card's pretty good in this deck overall because you just fill your graveyard. Mm-hmm. And I want to get back things like Nimble Mongoose and Phyrexian Rager to grind value. And I'm cutting some of my other threats that just died 1-for-1 to removal. Because I just don't need as many of them. And this can be one of those if I need it to be. So I think Pulse is generally just good. I don't like Flame Jab. There just aren't a lot of 1 toughness creatures. I think Flame Jab's good in this deck in general, but definitely not the matchup for it. So we'll cut our Flame Jab and hopefully keep these witches off the battlefield.
Yeah, my side, the only card that I really didn't love in this deck was the Evankar's Justice in the main deck. Excuse me. It is a pretty sweet one to top deck in a situation where your opponent has flooded the board, and having access to a Wrath effect, can steal games in a lot of wonky matchups. This is definitely not one of the matchups where I think Evankar's Justice is good, even though it can clear stuff like Satyr Wayfinder, Putrid Imp, etc. I think I just want more 1-for-1s, but I could be wrong, and I might reassess that after game 2. Kumbaj Witches seemed like it helped contain those small threats pretty easily. However, if Ross is able to kill them after sideboard, it's possible I want Justice just to clear those so my edicts actually kill the big guys.
Okay, we are here for game 2. I have another reasonable hand. Again, a little bit land heavy, but we have all our colors, so a definite keep.
So I did, if you were paying attention during sideboard, I did have Unearth queued up as a card that I might want to take out. There's a 1 in 3 chance that this Unearth should be a dead weight, so we'll see how much that comes back to bite me.
Okay.
All right. My draw this game is not nearly as good as it was last game, but hopefully Ross is also bad.
I will start on a Pewter Leech again.
Okay.
You can go. Good thing you don't have a dead weight.
Your turn. 33%. All right. 1, 2, 3. Or sorry, 1, 2. It's a dead weight. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not.
No.
Oh, it was a dead weight.
Attack you for 2.
No blocks.
I'm not going to pump because they usually have Disfigure in these decks.
Coward.
Pass the turn.
All right, we're going to cycle this Unearth just to try to hit some more removal and such. Again, I think we just want to Oubliette to get the Putrid Leech off the battlefield. We don't have a lot of ways to interact with it, so... Deadweight being one of them, so it's possible this Unearth should have just been a deadweight. 33% chance.
Crack this, get a mountain.
Yep. So, Ross, what are a couple ways that you think your deck could make the mana base better?
I think Ash Barrens is definitely a big one. I think it's probably just a better card than Jund Panorama. And you probably just want to play a ton of these. Like maybe you end up just playing a bunch of Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds, Panorama, Ash Barrens, rather than the dual lands.
Yeah, you think the putting a card in your graveyard is a little bit better than gaining a life?
Yeah.
Makes
I will
sense.
play a Wayfinder.
Sure.
Let's take a Rugged Highlands, I guess.
He says, keeping a dual land to gain a life.
Yeah. 21. Pass the turn. I'm going to hold off on this one for now and try to find a better spot for it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and make you put a card on top. Your turn. Chittering Rats is so cool. There's so few cards that actually do what it does.
But
Bolt it.
Yeah, I'll bolt it.
I wish I had that on Earthback now. Smoosh.
Yeah, definitely motion for 1.
17.
And I guess if I'm going to get one of these things back, I should just get back the angler and cast it. Because I don't have a way really to get to threshold for the Nimble Mongoose.
Not easily yet, anyway.
Yeah, and you're probably going to have to answer with an edict anyway. So, yeah, I'll get back the angler. I go to 27.
Okay.
And cast it.
Yep, 6 life off the Pulse of Mirasa.
Yep.
And then the Pulse being the 5th card. Okay.
Yep, pass turn.
All right. I will draw 2 cards, see if I can find a clean answer for this Gurmy.
You go to 15.
Go to 15. No, but we do have another Chittering Rats. So let's go ahead and get that extra card out of your hand. Your turn.
Attack you for 5.
I go to 10.
Yep.
Pass turn. Pass turn. Pass turn.
You have 5 cards in hand?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'll just do this now. I'm blightning you.
Ooh. So I have a couple extra lands here, so I think I'll just discard those. I go to
7.
7.
Did not want that to happen.
Attack.
I go to 25.
All right. I'll Gray Merchant you for 6.
I should have played this land last turn too.
Sure. Yeah.
Better against rats.
You don't want to get chittered. 6 you, I gain 6, so 13 to 19.
Yep.
Your turn.
That's what I expected. You have 3 cards in hand?
Yes. Lightning now I think would be pretty good.
Yeah, attack for 5.
I go to 8.
I instead drew a forest. You can go. Started with a 4-lander here, ending at 7. I just drew back-to-back lands. And one of the... I guess I hadn't drawn a land all game until those 2, because his Highlands came off Wayfinder. No blocks. Definitely don't want to get rid of my 1/1 because it's currently Edict
4,
Protection
so
for my Angler.
You're at 15.
I am at 15. You're at 8. Please
right,
don't have another Gray Merchant.
Actually, before I do that, hold on. I have 2 under, so I'm just going to cycle 1. Well, that might actually be better. Okay. Go to 7. Draw. Go.
I will go to 13. Or 14.
14.
Sorry.
Yep.
Attack you for 5.
So if I don't chump block, there's a chance I die. But I think I just gamble. I'm on a 2.
Werebear.
Oh, that's a
You
good
can
one.
go.
Now we play this weird game.
Got another Gray Merchant.
Yeah.
That's for 9.
6, 8, 9. Yeah, you're at 5. I go to 11. And now I can just sit back and, like, threaten some double blocks and some trades and such. Like, these creatures right here, like, if we go this here, he can only kill one of them. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, even better. Okay, never mind. Okay, so, like, double Gray Merchant plus this on Gurmag, he can still only kill one of them, which is kind of cool. Do I want to attack? He is at 5. I'm at 11. So currently he has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 power in play. If we attack with this, he can't trade. Or sorry, he can trade these 2 for this. If we attack with all 3 of these, I think we just attack with all 3 of these. Just try to get him dead. With our hand, next turn we can put him in under some real pressure. So, and with 1 chump blocker, I think our life total is pretty safe at 11. These Gray Merchant swings are pretty big, and this is the reason why Oubliette is so expensive. It's really old, obviously, but the fact that it sits in play for Gray Merchant is why it sees play over Unmake, for example.
So this is definitely going to trade for one of these. I'm not sure which one. I think I also want to double block here.
Yeah, I mean, going to 1 seems like pretty bad.
Yeah.
And chump blocking also seems pretty bad.
Yeah, because if I just go to 1, then next turn I have to block all 3, and I end up just chumping. So yeah, let's just trade for those 2. I go to 3.
Yep, 3 to 11. Your turn.
Now I still can't attack unless I draw something good. And I drew a swamp, so... Okay.
Right. We got a little lucky that game. Our draw was not that great in the early turns, but Ross was not able to put that much pressure on us. But we'll talk about that more in the outro. All right, so I think that is a classic mono black control deck and Pauper doing mono black control things. Played some removal spells early, put up some blockers that kind of gain some card advantage, like a Chittering Rat here, Fraction Rager there, and then finish it off with a big Gray Merchant to not only boost my life total and protect me from attacking for lethal, but also just putting you into a precarious position where you have to start trading your creatures off to not die.
Yeah, Gray Merchant really changed the complexion of that deck from a deck that wanted to go super long and grind every little bit of value to one that does that early and turns the corner really quickly now because of Gray Merchant.
Yeah, Crypt Rats used to be like the main win condition, but you also had things like Corrupt, Tendrils of Corruption to kill things and gain life.
Yep.
And then you would have like a huge life advantage, so you could afford to like Crypt Rats for a bunch, untap, play another Crypt Rats for a bunch. The same was true for like Pestilence, for example, which these cards are still showing up in these decks even after all this time because Gray Merchant still gives you that life buffer, but also can hit the opponent for a bunch and act as a 2/4 body, which is pretty good.
Yo, 2/4 is definitely big. And without a lot of removal or ways to gain significant card advantage, this deck is definitely behind in the matchup. You're just gonna answer my threats. I basically just need to hope you don't draw that many Gray Merchants. Like the second one is almost unbeatable.
Yeah. So. But the black deck can usually buy enough time so that you're able to find the second one.
Yep.
We saw in game one that I believe I only drew one, and it was just enough. I dealt you 10 on the turn where I had like 3 attackers on the battlefield already, plus the oubliette. So, I think that that is going to be a common play pattern for the mono black control deck where maybe your early turns don't look so good, you get popped in the face by a creature or two, and then at some point you turn the corner because you're able to play so many cheap ways to interact with your opponent.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good black removal. I like how now they have a good mix of edict effects and spot removal because they're needed against different things. The deck is just good.
Oh, for sure. I mean, every little piece of damage adds up too. Your opponent taking one off their Fraction Rager, you dealing them one with a Geth's Verdict, the Gray Merchant, getting an extra point off of your own Fraction Rager. Like the deck is explosive in that Gray Merchant can just kill you out of nowhere, but it's also resilient enough because it has so much removal that you don't really need to play all that many permanents for Gray Merchant. Like Gray Merchant for 4 is usually just good enough early to buy enough time so that the second Gray Merchant actually gets the job done.
Yeah, and in a deck that has such a high density of removal, the presence now of Gray Merchant forces other decks to respect your permanents and bring in their own removal, which are reactive cards that they normally wouldn't want in the matchup.
Right.
So one card really changes the dynamics of sideboarding. So I was bringing in extra removal when normally I'd want to just be bringing in better threats or something proactive. But now I just have to have this removal. Otherwise, like the Witches and the will stall me, and the Gray Merchant will just be too good. And I still just didn't have enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be all for Pauper today. Tomorrow, we'll be bringing y'all some Brawl, and this is a format that I'm really excited to keep playing, especially on the Versus series. It's been just so eye-opening on what Standard could be, if some of these more expensive cards had enough time to breathe.
Yeah, and this will be my first time playing since the ban and the reduction in life totals. So we start at 20. We're going to have some fun.
So one thing that I expect may end up happening, at least for Heads Up Brawl, is that I think the life totals are probably going to get reset back to 25. I think the reduction from 30 to 20 was too great, and that aggressive decks, for example, you could play a Carry Zev as your Brawl commander, and you always have that really powerful 2-drop, and I think that in turn leads to a bunch of draws where it doesn't really matter what your 3-drop is. If it's a 3-drop with haste or a 3-drop with 3 power, they're mostly the same in a singleton format. And if your opponent is not keeping pace with you on the same path, you're just going to be able to overwhelm them because 20 life, in effect, is not that much to work with when you're trying to cobble together like these little 2-card interactions in a singleton deck.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little surprised to see them go all the way back down to 20. Wouldn't mind it going up to 25. But this format is just great.
Oh, it's so much fun, and we're gonna continue to try to bring y'all Brawl content just because it's so cool, and we really want to showcase what some of these weird, not weird, but let off the beaten path standard cards could be if these red decks weren't so oppressive.
Yep.
All right, well, make sure to tune into that tomorrow, where Ross will be joining me, and that's all I got.
I'm good.
All right, well, thanks for watching the Verse Series on StarCityGames.com, and we'll see you tomorrow.